Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? Okay, before we start, I want to say greetings to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, hopefully all of you are in good condition. And for today, we will discuss the topic, the next topic of civic education topic, which called national identity. Okay, our first question is, what is actually the national identity? So I will explain literally. So national identity is the combination of two words. First is identity, and the second is national. So identity means the characteristics that attach to a person or group. So, for example, there is several characteristics for a person that was born in Indonesia, for example, or Indonesian people. Most of Indonesian people are like spicy food, for example, and that is the identity. And second is national, or derived from words nation. And nation means the identity that attaches to big groups which are bonded by several similarities, such as physical or cultures, religions and languages, and non-physical or ideals, aims and goals. So nations, so with these two words, with this the definition of these two words, we could actually explain what is actually national identity. So national identity is the characteristic that sorry, my mistake. So what is national identity? National identity is the characteristics that attach to big groups. So in a easy way, national identity is several things that identify a bunch of people as a nation. For example, in Indonesia, most of Indonesian people are religious. So most of Indonesian people believe in God, and we are also have our humanity concept, nationalism, democracy, and justice or social justice. So, national identity of Indonesia is the manifestation of cultural values which has grown and developed in various fields of life of hundreds of tribes in Indonesia. So, the national identity of Indonesia already grown in several cultures, in many cultures in Indonesia. Before Indonesia, there was Dutch East Indies, and before that, long time ago, this region, this territory called the archipelago. So in the archipelago, the people that live in the archipelago, they are having several cultures. So there are several values in that cultures, and then that cultural values then compile into national culture that we use for today, or that we use in Indonesian today. That culture based on Pancasila and the spirit of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. So the essence of the national identity of Indonesia is Pancasila. Because the identity of Indonesia, first, we believe in God. We have our humanity concept, nationalism, democracy, and social justice. And Pancasila is the identity of Indonesian nation. Okay, because of that, we have to learn, we have to know what is the history of Indonesian nation. Actually, the history of Indonesian nation began when the Dutch colonial ethical policy applied in Indonesia after the Diponegoro War, and after the culture cell policy. Due to the Dutch colonial ethical policy, which are education, irrigation, and migration. Education means the development of schools and universities in Dutch East Indies region. Irrigation means the development of modern irrigation system to support the Dutch East Indies community agriculture. The migrations means the transmigration to move people from overpopulated Java to less densely populated areas such as Sumatra or Kalimantan or Borneo. So after the culture cell policy, in the culture cell policy, the Dutch East Indies government forced the people to plant spice, to plant coffee, to plant any spices that they could sell it in the European market expensively. However, because of Indonesian people cannot plant any rice, or the paddy field were being destroyed by the Dutch East Indies colonial government. There are several, mostly the Dutch East Indies people suffer in hunger. That is why after the culture cell, the Dutch colonial government think that they are willing to pay back to Dutch East Indies people. That is why they apply the Dutch colonial ethical policy. The first point of the Dutch colonial ethical policy is education. So in education, due to that policy, there are several new schools and universities in Dutch East Indies region. And because of that, because of more schools and university, there was a new class grown in the Dutch East Indies, which called intellectual class or intellectual groups. This intellectual form modern organization, and the culmination of this development is the Sumpah Pemuda, or the Youth Pledge event, which took place on 28 October 1928. The Youth Pledge event, or Sumpah Pemuda, is the declaration of Indonesian nation, Indonesian homeland, and Indonesian language. So you can see at slide number 5, there are several. First Indonesian intellectual figures. In the far left is Wahidin Sudirosodo. He is a Japanese doctor. He was the one who went to several universities and schools and gave a speech about the importance of organization and the importance of nationalism. And in the center, that figures Indonesian hero, Indonesian national hero. His name is Tirto Adisuryo. He is the first one who built organization in Dutch East Indies, or the first intellectual that make organization. The name is Syarikat Priai, or the Association of Noble People, or Priai. In the far right is Dr. Sutomo. He was the one who found or who built the organization, the well-known organization which called Budi Utomo. And every year in Indonesia, we are celebrating the birthday of Budi Utomo as the National Arose, or Kebangkitan Nasional. Okay, what are the factors of the formation of Indonesian nation? There are several factors. First is common faith, because most of the people that form Indonesian nation, most of them are oppressed by colonialism and imperialism. Dutch colonial government, Portuguese, Japanese military government, and so on. The second is common will to be independent from any kind of oppression. At that time, we are willing to get our independence from the imperialists and colonialists. And the third is we live in the same territory, which is called Nusantara, or archipelago. The fourth is common ideals or goals. Almost all of Indonesian founding fathers, they want justice and prosperity for all Indonesian nations. So that are the factors of the formation of Indonesian nation. Okay, we continue. There are several identities that unite society into a nation. Actually, there are seven. I will explain one by one. The first is primordial identity or tribes. For example, the most of Scandinavian countries formed by Viking tribe. The pirates society. They are really good at sea war. And the second is sacred, or common religion or ideology. The example for this is the nation of Israel, the nation and state of Israel that was formed by the followers of Jewish religion. The second is figure. This means the central figure that unites society into a nation. There are Sun Yat-sen. There was Sun Yat-sen in China. He was the one who united Chinese society into Chinese nation. In Philippines, there was Jose Rizal. He was also the one who united Philippine people into Philippine nation. Number 4 is unity in diversity, or Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, means national unity on the basis of differences in ethnicity, language, culture, race, and religion. Indonesia, the nationality or nationalism in Indonesia also based on this Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity, because most of Indonesian people, most of them are different. So there are so many ethnicities, languages, cultures, races, and religions in Indonesia. Fifth, or number five is history, means historical similarities. Historically, most of the people that form Indonesian nation, most of them are oppressed by imperialist and colonialist system. Number six is economic development, or the more developed the economy, the greater the solidarity between the members of the society. Yeah. For example, in agricultural community, probably the solidarity not as good as the industrial society. Because in industrial society, most of the people are dependent one another. So, if we in industrial society, if we want to eat, we have to order food, or we have to buy. We have to buy rice or bread. So there are a group that produce food, and there are a group that produce another thing. So that is why the more developed the economy, the more solid the society. Number seven is institution, means political and government institutions that unite society into a nation. Okay, we continue. There are several forms of Indonesian national identity. The first is Bahasa Indonesia, or Indonesian language. This language originated from the perfected Malay language. So, in history, most of Indonesian people were using Malay language as the language to transaction, to make a transaction in a market. Or Malay language is the language of transaction in Indonesian, or in the Dutch East Indies traditional market. So Indonesian language is the Malay language that being perfected by Indonesian people. Number two is Pancasila, or Indonesian state, Indonesian nation and state philosophy and ideology. Number three is Indonesian national anthem, or Indonesia Raya. This song, composed by W.R. Supratman, or Wage Rudolf Supratman. He was one of the figure in Sumpah Pemuda event. He was the one who played this song with his violin. Indonesia, tanah airku, just like that. Okay, and number four is Garuda Pancasila, or Indonesian state symbol. Garuda Pancasila is an imaginary bird, which is also a mount of God Vishnu, Hindu god. And this Garuda Pancasila also have a shield in the chest. And this shield, there are five symbols, which symbolize five principles of Indonesian nation, or Pancasila. Number five is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity. Number six is Indonesian national flag or red and white flag or Sangsaka Merah Putih. Number 7 is the Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia 1945 or Undang-Undang Dasar 1945. Number 8 is NKRI or the Unitary State of the Republic of Indonesia. Number 9 is Wawasan Nusantara or Indonesian Archipelagic Vision, or the vision that see Indonesian territory as one territorial unit of islands, oceans, and air. Number 10 is Indonesian regional culture. So there are so many cultures in Indonesia. That is why Indonesian people also rich in culture. Okay, I think that's all for today. If you have any question, you can deliver it in Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. See you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.